and welcome to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I'm Teresa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. It's our pleasure, our honor to host this event every second Friday of the month. It's right here at City Hall.
Except when it's not the second Friday.
Yeah, on occasion it's not the second Friday, but for the most part it is. But you can always check our website, stluciechamber.org. We always update it in case there's a change.
Or citypsl.com.
Of course, and our Facebook page, and your Facebook page. So there's lots of places you can find out if we've moved it, because we often do. But anyway, please, I'm joined now by the mayor of the beautiful city of Port St. Lucie.
Oh, no modifier today?
No modifier. Gregory Oravec.
Esteemed, illustrious.
Yes, nope, I tried not
Bald.
to. Bald? Okay, the bald mayor of the city of Port St. Lucie, Greg Oravec.
Morning, everybody.
Welcome. There is so much going on, I wouldn't even know where to start. But what do you have on tap for us today?
I'm here for you and the people.
Yeah, questions and answers, or you and the people, like, paint my house. Anything they want?
Are you low to moderate income and for cleanup fix-up day?
Yeah. So we actually could actually paint your house.
Yeah, maybe one day we should just all march out of here and do a community service project.
I bet Gary, who's not here today, would love us to go pick up litter.
Yes, absolutely. I would love for us to go pick up litter. And I know that Mid-Florida will always take care of their property.
Yes.
And help us keep Port St. Lucie beautiful.
I'm worried about our attendance if we make them pick up litter directly after the show, though.
Really?
So, yeah.
You think that would negatively impact it? You don't think it would help us?
Well, it's Florida. It's a little warm. Summer. It might.
All right. Well, if you were ever in need of a pick-me-up, like you were saying, that it's been a long week, and here you are on Friday, and you're doubling down on your coffee.
I am doubling down.
In Port St. Lucie, if we are ever in the mood for some good news, where's a good place for us to go find some good news? Well, what would you say, Lynette and Rafa, owner of Trax Entertainment?
cityofpsl.com/good news.
There you
Bingo,
go.
bango.
She listens.
Why don't you give it to us in your voice?
On the screen.
She couldn't read that. I mean, no one could read that.
I read it. I can still read it. Just don't put it in front of my face. I'll never see it, but over there.
So we created this page to kind of capture some of the good news, and there's different levels of magnitude, but there are a couple that have been put on recently that I think deserve our attention. PSL ranked number 5 best place people are moving to by U.S. News and World Report. And U.S. News and World Report's one of those sources where we say, hey, they have some credibility.
Yeah.
They're in their professional ranking business. And number 18 safest place to live in the U.S. What was interesting about that, and I look at Sarah Prohaska, our communications head at this point. She's just running the whole show because Christina Seeberger is out doing human resources stuff. So Sarah is basically running our award-winning communications department. That's actually our whole MSA. If you look at the population number, it's 400 and change, which is our county plus Martin County, which is the PSL, Port St. Lucie MSA, Metropolitan Statistical Area. So we might want to just verify that that does in fact include the crime stats for that whole MSA. Because if it was just us, ourselves, we'd probably even be higher, but that actually would include Fort Pierce and Martin County. But still, it's a great accolade. And also, U.S. News, got to send them a thank you note to U.S. News and World Report. PSL ranked number 23 most desirable place to live in the U.S.
At least a fruit bouquet.
Absolutely, and I think there's a chamber member or two that might be able to arrange that through. And CNBC reported PSL as being the number 8 southern city where business is booming and salaries are rising.
Yes.
So just a smattering of the many, many positive headlines out there.
Good. And I'd like to keep Port St. Lucie Beautiful one, too, recognized for exemplary performance. That's kind of exciting, because I know that litter control is near and dear to your heart.
It is. Well, you have to do the basics, the essentials, the foundational elements right. And in Port St. Lucie, I think this whole audience would know at this point that we're dedicated to making Port St. Lucie and keeping Port St. Lucie a safe, beautiful, and prosperous city for all people. So to do that, you have to do the essentials right. You don't get to those high-level accolades without doing the little things that matter correctly and well.
Very good. Well, that's some great news. We should start off with a little good news every month. I like that idea.
Okay.
All right. And then we'll go to our sponsor.
That sounds like a plan.
And then we'll come back and we'll do a lot of questions.
Okay.
If they have them.
I know. I don't know. They need some coffee, too.
I know. Everybody go get some coffee, come back in, energy drink, a beignet, We're selling beignets today. And come back and we'll do questions. But right now, we're going to take a break and we'll come back with our sponsor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back to Coffee.
Woo! We love Mid-Florida.
That's the mayor. But right now we're going to visit with our sponsor, which is Mid-Florida Credit Union. They've been our sponsor all year. We're so thankful to have them as a partner. We couldn't do this show without them. So please welcome for the very first time, and I promise to go easy on her, Karina Talalay. She is a operations manager at the Gatlin branch, and that's the branch closest to my house. So you guys see me in there quite a bit. But welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for being our sponsor, and you brought some new people from the organization, which is nice.
Yes, we have Justin Willoughby. He's one of our loan officers as well at the Gatlin location, and Joseph Ryan is out of our US 1 location.
Very nice. Nice to see them. Well, we want to talk about, you have this great banner behind us, but you have a special going on with checking. So let's talk about that.
So when anyone comes in to open an account at the credit union, they can earn $200 into their checking account with direct deposit, but stop into one of our local locations and we can go ahead and give you more information on that.
And you also have a great rate right now for home equity, right?
Yes, it does depend
On your credit.
on your credit, but there is an introductory rate of 3.99 for the first year, and we'll be able to have that rate locked in for the 12 months, and then you'll go into your rate that you qualify for once the 12 months is over.
That's great.
What kind of score do you need for that rate?
So the mayor has asked what kind of score you need for that rate, and it's so funny, we were talking about that earlier. So she can maybe give you some basics?
How about giving me a range, you know?
Yeah.
Well, anywhere from the 600s and up, we want to look at those scores and
All
see
right.
where we are.
Sounds good.
You got to be a little over 700 to get the best, probably, you know.
The best rate overall, yes.
Yeah, you got to be in the, 700 range.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's fair.
Definitely,
It's
yeah.
the same everywhere. And we talk about Mid-Florida Credit Union. It started in Lakeland, and it
Yes.
started as a teacher's credit union.
We started in 1954 out of a shoebox, and we actually still own the building that it started out of, and that's our training center now. And we've grown into what we are today, where we have our locations now here in Treasure Coast. So
And
we're
how
looking
many
forward.
locations do you have altogether? Do you know?
About 60 will be before the end of the year, and that without including Stewart, that's going to be opening up early 2020.
You guys came in strong on the Treasure
Yes.
Coast. So how many on the Treasure Coast?
We have 4 on the Treasure Coast.
Yeah.
4 on the Treasure Coast, and St. Lucie County has been just amazing. The Chamber has been completely supportive. They've been at every one of our grand openings, so
Yeah.
we've been very thankful for that.
Well, Mid-Florida has been very supportive of the community at large, not just the Chamber, but the community, because you have 3 right here in St. Lucie County.
Yes, we do. Yes,
Yeah.
our newest location is St. Lucie West.
Yeah.
I'm at the Gatlin location, which is still the newest location, and US 1, which is our original stomping grounds.
Yeah. Well, you guys have done a great job of investing in the community, and I think that people realize that. It does not go unnoticed, so we're very thankful for everything that you guys do.
You're welcome.
And we always are telling people that in order to be a Mid-Florida Credit Union member, you only have to live, work, or worship right here in
Correct.
St. Lucie County, right?
Yeah, I'll live, work, worship, or also be in one of the areas that we service. So you don't have to necessarily be in St. Lucie County, but as long as we service one of the areas, we can certainly do it.
All right. So just about everybody here would probably qualify
Absolutely.
to be a member of the credit union.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes, you can all drive over to the Gatlin branch. We'll be there waiting for
Well,
you.
yeah, we'll have a little train going. We'll
That's right.
get a little tailgate party on the way over. Okay, very good. Well, thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for bringing new people with you. We appreciate that as well. And it went quick and easy, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay, good.
did.
Well, we will be right back with the mayor once again. Thank you. Welcome back to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I'm joined once again with, of course, the mayor of the beautiful city of Port St. Lucie, Mr. Gregory Oravec. And we are back and we're ready to rock and roll and answer some questions. And it denotes that this is my coffee.
Correct, it
Yes,
does. It does
yes.
say Teresa.
It does, it does. I left it somewhere, and so now we've decided to put a little name tag on it. We are doing our adult spelling bee is at the Civic Center.
When's that?
July 18th, I believe, and we're excited about that. Have you put your team together yet?
No, I have not.
Well, you need to get your team together. And if you'll remember, because you've done it before. Yes, Sarah put a team together. It's teams of 3 adults.
Hold on, let me write it down. So it's
Teams of 3
Memorialize.
adults spelling somewhat badly, sometimes pretty well, and usually with drink in hand, because it is for adults only. This is not a spelling bee for children. Don't bring your children out. They're gonna, there might be a 4-letter word or something dropped, and I don't want them to be exposed to that. So, but we're excited about it. It's a lot of fun, and a lot of people really get into it, and I've seen you get into it, but we would love to have you back. We'd love to have you back as the team. You've done well. The mayor of the other city has won the spelling bee.
number 1?
Yes.
Oh, wow. We only placed my first year.
Yeah, you did place, so,
It's tough. I've come to realize that I rely on spell check.
That's why I host it, because I thought I could spell, and I was like, I'm going to do an adult spelling bee. And then I did the kids ones, and I'm like, I can't spell at all. So I will serve as your host today. So yeah, it's fun though. It's a lot of fun. The words get hard. I use the actual Scripps National Spelling Bee books. And, this year at Scripps National, they had an 8-way tie because they ran out of words and the kids were too good. We do not get past like the middle of the book before we crown a winner.
It gets tough, and it's a little bit different than being at your desk and with the benefit of spell check and then being in a room full of people.
And I don't even know that I don't spell words wrong or that I correctly anymore, because it just auto-corrects it and you move on. So you just keep spelling it the same way.
It's an example of technology actually making us weaker.
Yes, I would agree with that for sure.
My teammate is out there. I just want to recognize Councilwoman Stephanie Morgan. If you say hi to Councilwoman Morgan back there.
Yeah. Good morning. And at the chamber, we consider her a councilwoman ambassador because she's an ambassador.
Oh,
for the
really?
chamber.
Wow,
Yeah,
she got another
has been.
title. She likes that kind of stuff. Yeah.
She's a longtime ambassador. Good. You want to move on to questions? See what
I do. I really,
what's on everybody's mind?
some weeks it's tough. So yesterday we got word that we lost Officer Steve Brown at the age of 40, and he seems like he passed away of a heart attack. We also lost a longtime planning and zoning member, Carol Christensen. So I don't know if you know Carol Christensen. She was a little dynamo, and that caught me off guard.
I didn't know about that.
And so you just have different things that happen in the course of life that remind you of how short life is and how we should appreciate every moment. But I'm going to be looking to you in the audience to keep us going today.
Well, I didn't know about Carol, so we're looking to the audience. Anybody have any questions today? Good. Thank you for that. So we do have a question, so we'll start there. But yes, our hearts go out to both their families.
We had a neighbor bop in the other day and asked us a question that we couldn't answer. Maybe you can enlighten us.
That's probably a tough one then.
It is.
I know these two are pretty well informed.
Is there a landfill going in down on Walton Road close to Indian River that you know
On
about?
Walton Road, is that the St. Lucie Public Schools bus depot right off of Walton? That's probably what that is. I'll double check for you though.
Yeah, I have not heard that, but that doesn't mean, I don't know everything, but I've not heard that.
It was their old site. I don't know if they're developing it or they've sold it, but I'll check. So right off of Walton, on the south side of the road.
Usually when they throw a landfill up, though, there's a lot of discussion first, but we'll see. Oh,
Well, not a landfill. St. Lucie Public Schools had originally bought it for a bus depot, like school buses. But there's no way it would be a landfill.
yeah, she said landfill.
You said landfill?
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
yeah.
No. That's a bizarre question. Just from your neighbor, because you just don't willy-nilly create landfills.
Yeah, without anybody knowing.
So St. Lucie County relies on the St. Lucie County facility that you can see off of 95 and the Turnpike off of Midway.
The only mountain.
And it has years of capacity left.
It does.
So they certainly wouldn't be able to build one next to the Savannahs on that small of a site. So no. It's funny that people think that.
Yeah, I have 2 comments about roads in the city.
Oh, sorry, only questions. See you next month.
And only one.
One is the roundabout on Gatlin Tulip over between the CVS and the Walmart, just where it crosses Port St. Lucie Boulevard. There's a new
Okay,
roundabout
yep.
there? Yeah.
Yep.
Wonderful roundabout. It works perfectly.
Oh, see, that's
Really
a good
nice.
one.
Yeah.
We very
Yeah.
rarely hear that one, so good.
And number two, I read something in the paper about the possible change to interchanges along I-95, referring to one from Crosstown, I think heading north, and it was going to be a braided, a terrible idea. I guess the idea was to stop people from going onto 95 from Crosstown and getting off at St. Lucie West. But that's what many of us do all the time, and I would hate to have that eliminated. So if the city has a voice in how that interchange is designed, I vote for leaving it the way it is.
Well, thank you very much. See, I had to just play a little tough in the beginning so she didn't seem like she was an audience plant. It was, because thank you very much for both your comments. Gatlin and Tulip, I got to say that you're in the minority on appreciating that one. Appreciate hearing that voice. A lot of people have struggled with it because it's not as large as most of our roundabouts, and that's a difficult intersection. And just whether it's a roundabout or a four-way stop, don't block an intersection, all right? Don't block an intersection, regardless if it has a signal, a roundabout, stop sign, no stop sign, don't stop in the middle of an intersection. All right, so that's good advice, but I'm glad that you've been able to navigate it and like it. We appreciate that.
And that's my CVS, and I want to go on record and say I like it too.
Well, now that it's fully open and we finally repaved, it actually provides for the U-turn to come back and get to Walgreens legally. A lot of people complain that they couldn't get to Walgreens once the median shut,
Yep.
but that was an illegal turn before. But now you can go to the light and make a legal U-turn, have room, and then go to Walgreens legally. So we're monitoring it. A lot of times there's an adjustment period.
Of course.
And again, that one is a little weird, and because it's not big enough, we couldn't landscape it and do the things that we normally do. On I-95, really appreciate you sharing your opinions. So we have a special council meeting on Monday, and Sarah, I would ask that you just get, her name and contact information, record that. If you can't be there on at Monday's special meeting, we actually have this issue of I-95 braided ramps on the agenda. It's something that we've talked about, members of the council have talked about in our capacity on the Transportation Planning Organization, the TPO. And I brought it to the city, and we're going to take it up early to see if we can just put a policy position in place that we're opposed to it right now, so that FDOT doesn't spend a lot of time working on it. So if you're not familiar with the alphabet soup I'm giving you, FDOT is Florida Department of Transportation. All right, and they're responsible for I-95 and state roadways. And they're in the process of improving I-95. And their job is to keep I-95 flowing, right? That's their primary mission. They don't care
They don't care
that's
how
not
you get from
that's not a nice way to put it,
to
but
St. Lucie West.
how it impacts the localities isn't their primary mission. The main line's their mission. And so braided ramps, what that means is that they're elevated and they crisscross over the top of each other. And obviously, since one's in the air and one's on the ground, you can't go between lanes. And if braided ramps went in at Crosstown, you wouldn't be able to take Crosstown to St. Lucie West, which would be terrible on I-95, which would be terrible for us. And then the other thing is, when you have a braided ramp, you're going in the air. It's the only way to get over the other part of the braid. Just like, if we were doing a French braid right here, you gotta.
Marisol's going to be so unhappy.
I couldn't demonstrate that on myself. I'm sorry, Trissa. But what happens is you're in the air, and so now what's happening with all that sound that's propagating from 25 feet in the air? What's that doing to the surrounding neighborhoods who already don't appreciate the noise on I-95? So really, I agree with you 100%. It's terrible for mobility. And what we know in the city of Port St. Lucie, because remember, we're driven by a strategic plan and your input, annual citizen survey that's scientifically valid, we know from our annual citizen survey and your input that mobility is our #1 issue. So we don't want anything to happen that will hurt mobility, hurt St. Lucie West, and especially with Crosstown opening, we want there to be greater connectivity between Crosstown and St. Lucie West, not less. So this is a policy discussion we're going to have, but I'm hopeful that the council will be opposed to the braided ramps.
It just doesn't leave us a good option to getting people from south to St. Lucie West, really.
No, it will really just put more pressure on Kashmir and California.
Very much so.
If the idea is to not let the traffic that we're talking about get onto I-95, just add an extra lane. and you can put, like dividers or little flags or posts or something to keep people in that lane only. Don't let anybody onto I-95 if you're in, say, the right lane and all you want to do is to get up to St. Lucie West. Thank you.
We're going to submit your resume to
I
FDOT.
was just going to say, I don't know if we get to design it ourselves, but we could try.
I mean, honestly, so she's on fire today. That
Yeah.
Not necessarily with the the stanchions, not necessarily with the posts, the plastic posts in the road, but the additional lane is an idea. And the other thing that you can do is actually create an additional road that connects the two interchanges, service roads. So there are a couple things right along that alley, we'll say, right up that alley, and but we have to. It's their road, so we'll make suggestions, and then their engineers will look in their book, and they actually have books. Sometimes they're the green book, sometimes they're the blue book, and they'll look at the tools that they have, and we'll see where we can get. Hopefully, it's not braided ramps.
Yeah.
But Monday, there's a public discussion of that.
Does anybody else have a question? Right back up here. We're going to go to David first and then, okay.
Hi, good morning. I heard that there was going to be some changes along St. Lucie West Boulevard, and I wanted to know how that might affect area business during and after the changes. I'm not sure if it has to do with actual roadway or traffic lights and things of that nature.
So we will always maintain traffic, and we'll try to do any road improvements outside of peak travel times. It's tough on St. Lucie West because there's always traffic on St. Lucie West Boulevard. The actual improvements you could check out by going to cityofpsl.com/sales tax, because these are part of our sales tax projects. We will be improving every intersection on St. Lucie West Boulevard. And so what that means is we'll be extending turn lanes for the most part. So we're just trying to increase the capacity, adding lanes, adding link to lanes. And so it'll be minor. Should not be a complete shutdown at any point unless something breaks. Every once in a while on a road project, you hit a pipe, and that causes chaos.
It does. But where your business is located, the Dows have a business right there, just west of the Publix, just in front of the new Publix. And so I think you'll be happy with the changes.
What's the name of the business?
Dow Decorating? Yeah, Dow Decorating.
What's the address?
I don't know the address. I mean,
What's the website?
I don't work there, but
DowDecorating.com at
I would've guessed.
1489 St. Lucie West Boulevard.
dowdecorating.com. Very good.
I
All
always
right.
appreciate a website address that makes sense. Very intuitive.
It does, yes. I like that too.
Good morning, Mayor. I'm getting one shot at this mic, so I'm going to have to pack lots of questions.
Oh, boy.
Start to your pen.
I'm ready.
I was pretty happy with that last meeting that you guys ran because you're spending some money to improve my bridge. It's very nice.
If it's yours, why don't you pay for it?
Yeah, what? I didn't know he had a bridge. Which bridge is his?
I think FDOT is not very popular. I understand they're holding up the Riverwalk. Is there some other options on that other than 3 years waiting for that? Let's see, one other question. I understand first portion of the McCarty Ranch is already done. When are they going to allow water into that first piece?
Okay, so we got,
So one, he's happy on his bridge. His bridge is the little bridge over South Bend and over the C-24.
okay,
So what's happened there, if you're familiar, we have a beautiful boat ramp park.
Yep.
There used to be one of the world's worst intersections at where Floresta comes into South Bend Lakes, and that became a beautiful roundabout,
Yep.
great gateway to the community, completely changed that debacle into
yes, love that roundabout
just
too.
between that and the park. It's really incredible. And then if you're familiar with South Bend, that's where Jessica Clinton Park is, which is being improved, and there's beautiful oak trees along the whole route, street trees on both sides. Lynette knows. Lynette lives there in beautiful
She does?
South Bend. And so does Sarah Prohaska.
Okay.
So really, when you say it's your bridge, you have to say it's our bridge.
Well, Lynette and Sarah can just use it. How about that?
So just last year, as part of our initiative to make sure that all of our major roads have sidewalks and fulfill our sidewalk master plan, the city constructed sidewalks on Oak Ridge. What Floresta turns into. If you're familiar with the city, you know that Floresta on the south side goes around the bend, right past South Bend and Boat Ramp Park.
Turns into Oak Ridge.
and then it turns into Bayshore on the other side, right? It's a loop.
So fun.
And so on that Oak Ridge side, we have beautiful sidewalks now, and you have beautiful sidewalks on South Bend, but the problem is there's a disconnect over your bridge. So, yeah, I don't know why you designed and built it like that. It's terrible.
Really dropped the
of you.
ball.
Yeah, I mean, really, he's so conscientious, too. It's just not, it's outside of his character, really.
Yes.
But we're gonna take care of the missing link.
I've seen the plan.
So,
Good.
yes, we are happy about
The
that.
bridge is good,
So
Riverwalk.
bridge is good. Riverwalk. So if you're familiar with our Riverwalk project, everyone know that the city has a botanical gardens? Who's been to the botanical gardens? All right, now, inverse. Who has not been to the botanical gardens? All right, Sarah, please take everyone's name and number down. And invite them to a party at the botanical gardens. But it's right off of Westmoreland. Does everyone know Westmoreland? You know where the McDonald's is on PSL Boulevard? You make that right there if you're eastbound. And you have the botanical gardens. You have the Westmoreland piece. And then you have a preserve. And then you have the anchorage. Okay? So on that preserve and the Westmoreland piece, we're going to build out the boardwalk. Has anyone ever been on the boardwalk on the north side of the bridge? All right, so good, but we got even more people besides the Botanical Gardens to get on that boardwalk, and it's going to be easier because the boardwalk on the north side is eventually going to go all the way down to the Riverwalk parcel and actually into the preserve. So it's going to be interconnected. And what Henry is pointing out is there is a missing link, going to be a missing link there. We're going to go under the bridge, but because FDOT hasn't taken care of the embankment of the Port St. Lucie Bridge over the river, they're not giving us a permit to make that connection yet. They need to fix their embankment first. So we're going to continue to lobby them, and we'll hopefully be sooner than 3 years. But Monday night, we approved the contract to construct that southern leg. So that'll be done in a year. And then we're just going to have that piece in the middle. We're going to continue to advocate and lobby FDOT to do their work sooner rather than later so that we can connect it and have a half a mile of boardwalk on the river.
How far apart's it going to be?
What's that?
Like, where's the?
You wouldn't be able to jump it, Trissa.
Oh, I was going to say maybe a swing. No.
A swing would be tough. We'd have to get a crane.
Okay.
You'd have to climb up and go over the bridge. Maybe a zip line.
Okay.
Zip line would
That's
be.
probably ADA.
That would be. Well, I mean, you know.
Zip line. I mean, you just ride it. It's basically an elevator.
Right off the FBO.
Very good.
Did John say that? Was he talking about
Yes, it was
electricity back there?
John.
So, but if you jumped and you didn't connect the ground to the wire at the same time, you'd be able to do it and survive. But the landing, again, you're going to have to jump, get clearance.
It's a
You would
little
never want to.
tricky,
If you
but-
clip the bar, it would be end.
Okay. It's a
Because
little
that's high
tricky.
voltage too, right there. So, yeah. Well, we were never on track, sir. But that's why I write it down so I can come back. But that's the missing link, and we will lobby to do it faster. And I guess we have a lot of lobbying to do because at McCarty Ranch, out there at the western edge of Port St. Lucie, we are doing a water farming project, a water storage and treatment project that allow us to take up to 21% of the excess fresh water out of the C-23. C-23 canal is the one that separates Martin from St. Lucie County. That's our border on the south there. So that's one of our major tributaries into the St. Lucie River. You know, when we watch the news and we're hearing about discharges, that's Lake O water going through the C-44, the Okeechobee Waterway, into the South Fork of the river that meets the North Fork right about the Roosevelt Bridge in Club Med, right? So our tributaries, even though we're impacted by the Lake O discharges, our tributaries are really the 23, the 24, which is, we're just going to make, that's Henry's Canal.
That's Henry's Canal.
That goes on,
That's my canal.
goes under his bridge.
I'm laying claim to that one, Henry.
So those are our tributaries, the headwaters of the river, the North Fork itself, right? And all the land that flows into it.
And neither one of them take direct discharge from Okeechobee, the
Correct.
C-23
That's
and
right.
24.
But on the C-23 there, we're doing this water storage project. It's going to take 10 billion gallons of water a year out of the system when there's excess fresh water in the system. We're ready to hit the button on the first pod. We've built it in pods and ponds. Phase 1 is done. It's ready to go, but for the Army Corps of Engineers permit. So I asked the question, as you probably know, Monday night, and I was told that 2 weeks. 2 weeks we're hoping for the permit on that for phase 1.
That sounds
And
fast.
we approved the construction project for phase 2. There's 6 major phases of that project.
So once you get the permit, will water go in?
Once we get the permit, water will go in when the elevation of the canal
Reaches a certain level.
reaches a certain level,
Yeah.
which means that there's excess
Right.
fresh water in the canal.
Yeah, you're not taking water from the canal. It's just when it gets excess, it will flow in.
Yeah, I mean, we're taking water from the canal, but only when there's quote unquote too much water in there.
Yeah.
So rather than wasting that precious resource and having so much of that precious resource that we're wasting, that we're ruining one of the world's most remarkable estuaries, we're going to store it, clean it, and eventually use it for drinking water.
And do you think it will actually kind of maintain the level of the C23 on a regular basis?
It will bring down the level. It'll be interesting to see if when we turn on the pumps, it actually makes a difference in the elevation.
Yeah.
Depends on how much water is flowing through that puppy.
I'm anxious to see too, because I live on that, so I will see it right out my kitchen window.
It won't be enough
I'll
that,
let you
like,
know.
if you were on your little canoe out there, that, oh, help, I'm getting sucked into a vortex.
Yes, yeah,
paddle
yeah.
faster. Bruce, paddle faster. That's her husband. They just had their anniversary. We give them a big round of applause.
You bring
Yeah.
that up.
Did you remember to get him a card?
I did remember to get him a card.
Okay,
But
good.
he doesn't watch the show because remember last time for Valentine's Day I made him a card because I forgot. But yeah, I did buy him one this year.
So if you were out there in your romantic paddle trip,
Yes.
it's not a strong enough suction to create a vortex that would put your life into jeopardy or do anything cool like, journey to the center of the earth or anything like that.
Well, how many of you have been married for more than a decade? There's no romantic paddle trips. If you're out in a paddle boat, it is more of a, holy crap, right, Kathy?
I don't know. Don't look to them. I think that's really more a reflection of you.
No,
I don't
think they
you
would
should put the state
agree.
of your relationship on this audience.
I'm just saying, 10 years in, it's less romantic and more paddle
Oh, my
faster.
So you know that McCarty means a lot to me personally because I'm a native Floridian. My degree is in marine environmental systems from the University of Miami, and I love Florida. And I'm very proud of our project. But at the same time, so as mayor, I have to celebrate this, but then I also have to point out that we, just for the C23, if this takes 21% of the excess fresh water, then we need 4 more, right? Just on just one canal, and that's the magnitude of this problem. So when we have conversations on stormwater discharge, like discharges, saving the estuary, I hope to share the scale of the issue with you. That as much as there's infighting between the different political groups, and not so much infighting as fighting with each other, there is infighting in some of the constituencies, but you have all these people pointing the fingers at each other. A lot of the solutions are very straightforward. It's digging holes or creating berms and storing water. It's just the scale of the issue. So just on this one canal, C23, our project, $8 to $10 million project is going to take us, at the end of the day, it's going to take us, 8 years we'll probably be into it.
It's all funded on the second one, right?
Second one's all funded. The planning is going to be done for all of the phases. And even if it takes us 10 years, we're going to get done a lot faster than a lot of the federal projects and the state projects. But this is the problem that we face. We have to do so much more. And that's really something that I'll be working on the rest of my term in office, is setting us up for that next piece. I don't want to see the city of Port St. Lucie stop with McCarty. McCarty's it's 21% solution on one tributary. So we need to buy that next piece and make sure that we keep the train moving.
I have to ask another question.
Henry's got another question.
Okay, when are you guys going to start on my end of Floresta?
He's very territorial, Henry, isn't he?
Well, you like to see that in your residents actually take ownership and pride.
Oh, he took ownership.
Yeah, they participate.
They do.
And they're really a joy.
They're out in the community. They do pull their weight.
Yes, absolutely.
So I will, give over a fourth of the bridge to Henry and his wife.
So the southern portion's going first, and we already had it designed and permitted, so we were able to do a redesign on it and an amendment. It's going to save a lot of time. And so that process is already underway. Let's see if we can find the actual.
Is it under project list?
Yeah, let's see. There is a schedule here somewhere.
Is that monthly accountability?
Let's see if it's here.
There you go. Oh, well, can you read that?
I can. The audience won't be able to.
Okay. It looks color-coded. That's all I got.
So let's see. You want the good stuff. You want actual construction. So South Bend to Elkham construction.
Now, what, South
It'll be under construction next year.
2020 and then completed in 2021, it looks like.
And we keep this updated. So again, any of the sales tax projects, whether it's intersection project or if like you're in Torino, Kashmir and California roundabouts will be starting very soon. You can just go to cityofpsl.com/sales tax, and then you can look at the schedule and get the updates and see what's going on. And around town, you'll actually see the thank you voters signs up, and that's a sales tax project.
But this is very nice. It's color-coded, so it tells you, is it in planning and design? Is it,
Correct.
out for RFP? And when are they starting construction? It's a very good tool. I like it.
It's really exciting. The whole Floresta project should be done in 2023.
Yep.
So it'll move as a train in phases, starting with your section.
Anybody else have a question for the mayor? Right up front from our Florida Community Health Centers.
Oh, you didn't tell me that was Florida Community Health.
It is, all three of them.
Did Mark just bop her in the face with the mic? It was close. It scared me.
I happen to be a South Bend resident as well.
Ah,
Wow, you guys stacked the deck. This is like
Yeah,
an
we
HOA
did.
meeting.
I love living out there. There have been a lot of changes since I moved out there. The one problem I have, I'm still a working person. I come out of Eagle right by the bridge, your bridge and the gentleman's bridge.
no, that one's their bridge. I went further down.
And I have to say, I feel like I take my life in my hands every morning trying to come out of Eagle, because you've got everybody swarming down South Bend and all the people who are flying over the bridge.
So you're taking a right onto the bridge,
I'm
right?
making a left onto the bridge.
Oh, you're coming from the other
Because
side.
Eagle runs
Yeah.
along the canal. And so I'm making a left, I'm right there at the base of the bridge. And it's a nightmare. And I don't know that there's any thought of what might be done, because I know that's a really critical point.
Well, they posted speed limits, but that clearly didn't work.
Maybe a slower speed limit when you come to that area might be helpful. I don't know what the answer is. I've thought about it a lot, but I have to say, you're traveling at the time everybody else is traveling, and they're just want to get where they're going, and they don't care about speed limits. So just a thought out there.
Very good. Thank you for that. Well,
So one of the long-term solutions could be a roundabout further to the south, where if you were uncomfortable making a left, you could make a right and then make a U-turn in the roundabout. So that's one of the things that could happen.
yeah.
And then, are you able to access a side road further to the south of the first Eagle?
That's what Lynette was just,
Yes. You have to do what you're comfortable
yeah.
with. And so here we are.
Lynette was just saying,
I'll make a comment.
oh, okay. But yeah, there's,
So weird not to hold the microphone. Okay.
I know.
But I will say that
She runs Tracks Entertainment. That's kind of what
I
she
will
does.
say that traffic calming measures such as PSLPD, they're sitting out there more days than not. And then you have the digital displays that are monitoring on South Bend. So those have helped. I've lived there 15 years, so that has certainly helped. And then for those that live on that first Eagle, I live on the second Eagle, but those that live on that first Eagle, you can come down just 2 streets in the middle. I think that's Navy right there, and you can make that left, and it's just literally, it's less than 300 yards from the bridge. It's probably about 300 yards from the bridge, and it's a safer turn for those who live on the first Eagle coming over the bridge. That would be my recommendation, because I think if you alter the path on South Bend, I don't know how that would work, putting 2 roundabouts back to back like that over the bridge.
Well, he was saying he would put it, further south so that it wouldn't be, direct one.
That's not on my Eagle.
Just not, okay. Uh-oh, we got the old not in my backyard, didn't we?
See how fun it is to be
Yes.
official?
I want it, but not in my backyard.
So, what you'll find is, so even on the Crosstown Bridge, 89% of people voted for that. That's as close to full buy-in as you'll
That's a
see.
landslide.
Anytime you see 9 out of 10, but it just goes to remind us there's always competing points of
Sure.
view.
Sure.
And the council and I and our staff, we try to do the best we can. But that's why we try to run a citizen-driven,
And they're
community-driven
usually,
planning process. But it'd be the second Eagle,
Yeah.
which is when you get halfway through, and it would help break the speed.
oh, the second Eagle's Lynette's, just letting you know. But, there's usually
Make her turn easier.
validity to both sides too. So you really
Well, there's 3
can't
sides to
discount.
every story.
Yeah,
at least.
absolutely.
Minimum 3 sides.
Yeah.
But I think what I would offer is along the lines of Lynette is if you're not comfortable making that left-hand turn, then don't. Then go to Joel. Go to Joel or go to the second Eagle and make the turn there. And do what you feel comfortable with.
We got another question?
Yes, actually, I'm a resident of South Bend also for about 20 years. So to build off of what they said, I just think that in general, the speeding that's going on that road is almost out of control. So yes, you have cops there, but if I'm sitting in my patio having a cup of coffee, I'll hear motorcycles flying down the road, really loud cars. And as much as it helps with having police officers down there and everything else, have you ever thought about implementing a similar structure like in Westmoreland, where the streets are actually kind of reconfigured, where it forces people to slow down? Or maybe adding another stop sign somewhere, just something to try to slow down the
About
speed.
speed tables, those are always,
Speed tables are great too.
So
as they throw tomatoes at me.
So that middle roundabout would be part of a traffic calming project. And over the last several years, what I've mentioned to Henry and members of your HOA, because you do have an HOA,
They're all
is that
here.
you should work with your district council person, Jolene Carballo, on a master plan for that road. And then I'm not the guy to tell you what you want to hear. That's not me. I'd rather tell you what you need to know. And so what I'd say is that South Bend, with all of the improvement projects that have happened, doing another $1 million traffic calming project on South Bend Lakes is probably not the city's first order of business, given all the other priorities that went in, especially when you consider that South Bend, no one lives directly on South Bend, as compared to many roads in the city of Port St. Lucie that were designed by General Development Corporation. Several homes back up onto it. Some have their side yard close to it, but no one has their driveway on South Bend Lakes Boulevard. And South Bend Lakes Boulevard was originally designed for a 4-lane road. That's why those oak trees are so far off of the road. And as you know, it essentially connects Port St. Lucie Boulevard to Becker. And so it's an arterial road made to connect 2 other arterial roads. And so that makes it a little bit different. So there needs to be a plan. And then once you have a plan, then you can talk about funding it. But until the community comes together, and it'll be more than just South Bend, because this is an arterial road, that we'll have to come together and come up with the best possible plan for that road. Personally, I do support the roundabout, midpoint somewhere. I'd rather not be 4-lane road. That's my personal preference. But the whole community has to have a conversation about that. And you give your input to the council, and then the council, makes a policy decision. But so it's just not as easy as running out there and making it happen. And then competing priorities. I would always say that we're a city of 189,000, but now we're a city of 195,248, making us the 7th most populous city in Florida. And we have competing priorities, and that's why we work through our strategic plan.
Mark, before you go over there, Mark, had her hand up in the back for quite some time. Keep going back, the other back.
So keep working on that first
Then we'll
order
come to
of
you.
business is to get a master plan for South Bend Lakes Boulevard, a master design plan.
And I think that even the people that live out there would say that there are some other priorities that we probably need to address rather quickly that are impeding mobility in St. Lucie County, or Port St. Lucie. So,
Well, and speeding is something we hear across. It's actually the police chiefs made this the year of traffic enforcement in Port St. Lucie.
Oh,
So
good.
everyone's been warned.
yes, good to know.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll get maybe a 5th district, which would add
Well,
police.
that's going to happen out in tradition.
Yep, so we'll add some resource.
Well, good morning. I'm in the similar area, the Canal Point new neighborhood. And the issue, we ride our bikes down to the new boat ramp park. It's wonderful. We love sitting there on a sunset, watching it. But the issue is for those who are traveling on trikes, cannot go across that bridge on the sidewalk. Is that what we're discussing in a new plan?
Yes,
For crossing over?
That's why Henry was happy.
Okay,
One
all
of the
right,
many
very
reasons
good.
why he's happy, but
Very good.
that was his first point, and that's the missing link.
Yes.
ma'am.
And then point number 2 is using the sidewalk system that goes around that to get to Port St. Lucie Boulevard. And I've talked to the TPO about this and the county. That sidewalk stops right after the entrance into Walgreens and does not connect to Port St. Lucie Boulevard. For those using mobility, such as electric wheelchairs, they can't get across. They have to go out into that turn lane now because it's like 30 feet or I don't forget the measurement.
Are you on Bayshore now?
Okay, if you're coming up Bayshore to that 4-way stop sign and you get out onto the
Bayshore and
turnpike
Port St. Lucie Boulevard.
and you're going right up to the Walgreens, you've got a sidewalk till the turn-in point. I guess you could go up through their parking lot on your mobility and then have to come down the sidewalk to cross over to the Victoria Square Shopping Center. So you see there's a missing link of sidewalk of about, 30, 40, 50 feet, I don't know, from wherever the turn-in coming from the south side into Walgreens
Yeah.
to Port St. Lucie Boulevard. And they say it's because Walgreens is holding that up. So if we could, as a city, solicit with Walgreens as your community, please help the city to provide access for those who are, depending on their wheelchairs and.
So there's a missing link between Oak Ridge and PSL Boulevard?
Not between Oak Ridge, but you literally come right up. Okay, I'm off of Glenwood, so I make my right-hand turn, and there's sidewalks there until you get up to the turn-in, the back turn-in into Walgreens.
Okay.
But from the turn-in from that side to Port St. Lucie Boulevard, there's no sidewalk.
I know what you're talking about.
There's a light pole right on the edge. They're going to have to move the light poles. They're going to have to continue that piece of sidewalk. So if that could be a priority, just to get that access. And thank
Very good. All right, we did have a question over here. So, no, you're good?
I addressed it myself.
You Googled it. Is that what you're saying? We're superfluous and you Googled it.
On
Okay.
the map, if there's any other way to do something
Oh.
in addition to South Bend, like if there's any other way to make it arterial.
Okay, very good. Okay, John from Elite Electric has a question.
So just for the record, I live in a better part of town over in Sandpiper, just in case anybody here was wondering.
I believe that's the mayor's part of town, too.
It is right around the corner from me.
Yeah.
So I have 2 things. One, a comment on the Hurricane Expo. It was probably one of the best Hurricane Expos and from attendance-wise and everybody that was out there. So that was really, really good if anybody attended, or if they didn't, that was really good. My question is on the Crosstown Bash, we'll call it. Any info on that? Is that going to happen? Do we have enough sponsors and stuff like that?
Thank you, John. Thank you for being part of the Hurricane Expo. It seems to get better every year, and thanks to people participating like you. Crosstown is on schedule for September 28th. I think that the concept has morphed into morning. Do you have some information for us, Sarah?
The plans right now are for it to begin at 9. This is
Hold on, let's put you on the mic.
Yeah, we're going to put you on the mic. Mark's coming. It's a big room.
Thanks. We are
She
still.
can hold the mic. She's staff. She works here. It's just, yeah, we have rules, but she can hold it. Sorry.
The plans right now are for it to begin at, and this is not set in stone. We will, when it gets closer, we'll definitely push all this information out so everybody knows what the itinerary is. But it is September 28th. It's a Saturday. The plans are for a big ceremony in the beginning around 9 a.m. and then a block party around the lake. You know, there's a beautiful lake at the corner
Of
of
Floresta.
the western side of the bridge. So the party, and it's really a very nice area if you ever go out there. There's a sidewalk around it. It's really a lot bigger if you go out there than when you're driving by it. So we're planning on doing a party around there, a procession over the bridge, and then hopefully we're thinking around 3 o'clock, we'll wrap it all up, and then the bridge will open. So cars will be able to drive. The original plan was to have the party on the bridge, but some of the feedback we got was people would rather just have the bridge open and be able to utilize it that day. So we kind of scaled it back just to try to accommodate that wish from the community that we can actually drive on the bridge that day. So that's the plans right now.
Are we still looking for sponsors?
We are, and so we still do need sponsors because even scaled back, we need sponsors. We need help. So if you go to www.cityofpsl.com/crosstown, you can find out all the information about how to become a sponsor, which we really are thankful. We've had quite a few businesses sign up so far, and it is really helping. But we could use more. So, and it's a great way to get your name out there, your business out there. It's going to be a fun community event. So.
I would imagine this is the biggest party we'll ever throw, at least in a generation.
I think in our hearts and minds it certainly will be, for sure, because I think the best celebration of that bridge is to be able to use that bridge. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the new plan, too.
The lake's at the southeast corner
of
Floresta and Crosstown. Let's see if this aerial, I think it was done so the lake had taken shape here.
Good.
Let's see. Can I get a mouse next time? Oh, sure. I'm more of a mouse guy, no big deal. Easier than whatever this pad is called.
Oh, lots of construction, though.
So you could see Floresta right in that range, if you could see the cursor. That's Floresta with West Virginia Drive coming across being Crosstown. And so that's where the block party will be. That's now a beautiful lake. It's not so much earth as it is a lake and coming into form with landscaping. That's where the block party will be. We're going to have food trucks there and like face painting and all that good stuff.
There's still going to be music, food trucks, kids zone.
Thank you, buddy. Does it work, too? Man, this is why they're award-winning communications, I tell you.
You communicated
Boom.
a need for a mouse,
Bam.
and
It materialized. Love those
magically
guys.
appeared. Good. Anything else we need to add?
We had a
for the
lot of
good
questions.
the- we did have a lot of
I
questions.
love it.
Always
I love
nice.
South Bend HOA
Some
meetings.
statements, yes.
Are they a member of the chamber?
No,
Oh, well, we need to get a membership for you before the end here.
they seem well organized. So yes,
He's
I'm already getting names here.
I saw him walking around with his
He
pen and
did. He was
paper.
like, he got his little pad. He's old school.
Yep, I like it.
Like a reporter.
If there's nothing else for the good of the order, it's getting close
Yes.
to time. So
Thank you, Mid-Florida.
as
Appreciate it.
always, we very much appreciate everything that you do for not only the chamber and the chamber's members, their small businesses and large businesses in St. Lucie County, but for everybody. They've been involved in so much, I can't even tell you. And thank you to the mayor. And
thank you.
Thank you for spending your time with us and your award-winning communications staff. We appreciate everything that they do and thank you to Councilwoman Morgan for joining us and Angel Robertson from Brian Mass' office
I don't
joined
want
us.
to get in trouble. I know we're in a very sensitive time and you can't have too much fun, but I do want you to know that she did her hair for you. It's a special day when you see that do right there. And that was for you because she's an ambassador. That's right there.
That's right. It's because she's an ambassador of the chamber. That's what we're going with. That's an ambassador regulated haircut. Okay. Very good. Thanks to all of you for joining us today. We appreciate your time. And don't forget, every second Friday of the month, and you can watch us on YouTube, cityofpsl.com, Comcast 20, Uverse 99. If you take a picture of yourself watching our show at home and hashtag Coffee with the PSL Mayor, the Chamber will provide you perhaps with a prize.
And you're in appropriate attire.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I can't. I can't with that.
Make sure it's really
Yes.
tight on your face.
Yes. But yes, take a picture of yourself watching it on any one of those venues and hashtag Coffee the PSL Mayor, and we will find a prize.
All right, it took us a while, but we got warmed up. Thank you for joining us. Please visit Freedom Fest and be good to your neighbors.
Bye-bye, everybody.